Because I'm better than you?
Look out!
My name's not Shane, kid.
Magic missile! Magic missile! Magic missile!
Welcome back to Wish for Death Island, population me, and the only piece of sanity I have left. Today, Big Green Lady do bad. We've been through the ringer with some bad shows on this channel, but this time it's definitely one of the stranger ones, and I truly am at a loss for words. The title isn't one of those journalism questions where you ask a question in the title and the answer is always no. This is a genuine question because I don't know. I'm honestly confused.
Because I'm better than you?
Also, a housekeeping update. The Happy Meal will be going normally, but I will be busy doing real life stuff in December and January, but I'll have videos planned in advance, hopefully, so that each month I won't be missing out on anything, but I won't actively be around to do stuff. I hope that's okay. So we're also going to be doing 2 episodes now and 2 episodes in whenever the next video is going to be, just to kind of ease into things, but being as there's only 8 episodes in whatever the fuck this is supposed to be, we'll see what we do with the next one. The best thing to do to answer my question is to get started.
Looks like you ain't got much choice.
There's this big fanfare of Marvel things before each episode, and this means nothing to me because I haven't even seen the Avengers, nor do I care about cape shit, but this is probably really tragic to watch for the people who used to like them.
What is the responsibility of those with power?
Try asking Chinese people.
There's gonna be a lot of fourth wall break type stuff where Shonk, as I'll call her, faces the camera and then it zooms out and she's actually talking to other people, so keep that in mind. It gets weird. And then sometimes they just abandon it all and have her deliver her weird social pandering messages directly to the camera just because why not, I guess. She opens by saying that people in power have this position where they could use it to be good people and perhaps they have an obligation to work for the will of the people because of this power, and yet her current opponent in court is one of the big bads who use their power for bad things. I guess like every politician ever, or everyone in Hollywood ever, probably. Gee, I sure hope this show doesn't have 2 really annoying side characters that try to be trendy and relatable but never shut up like Batwoman did.
You win the case!
Oh no. Well, to be fair, one of them isn't the annoying sidekick, only one of them is. The other is this kind of stereotypical rich white straight man who's gonna be all weird about oppressing the powerful women because the only way that these shows write men at all is when they're horrible people. I think there's a word for when you can only write one gender as a specific way because you have a bad prejudice against them and don't see any of them as individuals. I can't remember what that word is. He says that he's gonna make her speech sound better because it's coming from him. The sassy girl boss looks at him with her creepy crackhead eyes as if to say, no, because you don't have a vagina and you are bad. So then he huffs and puffs, but they use the girl boss power of pushing him physically out of the door to continue the girl bossing. They also make some jokes about murder, and Shonk over here has to ruin the joke by saying that she's against murder because she's a good guy. Get it? She's a good guy, so even the jokes that she makes, she has to say that she's a good guy, because that's how comedy works.
Only because it's a conflict of interest, not because I condone murder.
What will you learn? Now you just have to top it off with a savage Jen Walters look.
What? I don't have a savage Jen Walters look.
There it is.
That's not a savage look, that's like mild confusion. That's like Joe Biden being asked a simple question.
And if it doesn't go our way, you can just Hulk out.
Hulk out. What does that mean? If you don't win the case, you're gonna blow up to be an angry, emotional mess and demand to speak to the CEO of oppression so that they fix it for you because you didn't do a good enough job? Gee, that sure sounds empowering. So, Shonk then comes back to talk to the camera about being the She-Hulk because she just, you know, that's just the way it is. Now, this fourth wall breaking isn't exactly unfounded because the comics, in some of the covers and whatnot, had her making fourth wall breaking comments saying that the writers were just making excuses to show her being sexy and whatnot, but it was always done in a kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of way where she wasn't mad at it, she was just kind of laughing along with them. As you already know or quickly realize, this isn't exactly the tone that they're going for in this one. Yes, she is being snarky, but in a not that fun way. I'm not insulting the actress at all because, you know, she looks fine. I know that she's been saying some things on Twitter, but I don't really care about that stuff just yet. I'm just focusing on the episode, but the character is not very flattering. So we go to a flashback about how she learned that she is the Shonk. I was originally going to call her Shulk because I was like, She-Hulk. Shulk. But then I remembered that one part from Hypnospace Outlaw about shunking T-nubs, and it stuck, so... You know how I always give everyone a nickname in these because it's just unnecessary, but I guess it's just a part of what I do, but Shonk just kind of... So you know what? My shop closes at the end of November and opens in February, so for this last month of 2022 operations, use code SHONK to get 10% off your order until April 30th. Anyway.
You about my friend in Gali.
Obviously, Captain America wasn't virgin.
No!
She's going on a trip with her cousin, Bruce, and they're talking about some dumb shit, and I guess Captain America had a special on the History Channel? Is this part of the comics or is this just some random crap as a setup for jokes? I know that Shonk ends up keeping a photo of Captain America's ass as her lock screen and then complains about women being objectified because I guess that's like quirky and cute or whatever. So like he exists in the universe, and I know he does already because of the crossovers and stuff, but it always confuses me when they make references to other superheroes and it's like I don't exactly like what are they up to, you know what I mean? This really ugly thing shows up and blocks the road. No, I don't mean cyclists. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know the show was created for the PS2. They fly off the road and crash, and then Shonk emerges with no injuries besides some tomato sauce on her arm, and Bruce is totally zonked out, so she has to drag him out, and his Shrek blood from the also weird one singular scratch on him in the same spot gets on her. And through her scratch on the same spot in her arm that it doesn't really look that bad. And then she becomes a Shonk. Sorry, I didn't know the show was made on the Dreamcast. Shonk is like running off because she's like, oh my god, I am a Shonk, wow. And then Shrek turns to the camera and makes a scary face. Shonk runs off and has some sleepy. Then she does some things in the forest. She somehow had gone to a gas station because I guess, oh wait, that's a bar, a strip club? I don't know what the fuck that is. Anyway, she ran so far because she has shonking T-nubs, and she goes in for help.
Took it! You should have ate the pizza on your table. I could take a pizza. No, you can't!
In the bathroom, she tries to clean off some of the Shrek cum off of her shirt, but she's really fucked up looking. A bunch of wiggers and niggas decide to start putting makeup on her and talk about boyfriend issues because I guess they're drunk and quirky, and they all just walked in and started assuming that someone that she has sexual relations with beat her up and she's in a toxic relationship.
I need him. Or her. Or them.
But you do need shoes, because this is a public bathroom.
Right. Got some here. Take these right here.
And just, you know, decide to crowd around her and put makeup on her unsolicited, which I think is really funny because they always talk about stereotypes, but whenever they put in, like, let's say like a bunch of black women into one of their shows, it's always this weird stereotype that just feeds into the negative aspects of it. It's like in the Ghostbusters 2016 one where they were like, let's make all the white women scientists and make the black lady a janitor who screams a lot and doesn't do anything because she's stupid. They were going on about how other people think that black women are this way because of some stereotype, but they are one of the biggest reasons why that stereotype is still floating around because they constantly put it in their movies and don't allow any character that's a diversity hire to be anything else besides the stereotypes. It's just really funny. Like for a group of people that are so obsessed with like empowerment, or what they call empowerment, and like skin color and all that, the only black people that I've seen in this series so far in the 4 episodes that I make notes on already, you've got these annoying idiots who are just complete stereotypes, and then you've got that one pop star lady who is just complete trash. She acts really bad, and apparently that's supposed to be empowering, but if you just say that you don't like that kind of thing, I guess you're unpersoned. Yes, I too hover around bathrooms and put makeup and shoes on someone who does not consent to or ask me to do that at all. And that person is also bleeding from several places and probably needs some other type of medical attention, but I don't care. So she uses their phone to call her cousin and waits outside for like 2 seconds before a group of triggering males decide to give her some issues. She gets angry and rees at them, and then Bruce just kind of tackles her. It just looks really fucking funny. I guess that's how that works, right? She wakes up in a weird tropical place, and we're like almost 9 minutes in, but I guess Shonk is finally gonna happen. She also takes like 7 trillion years trying to explore the damn place. Then there's like there's some spicy Mexican bullshit music playing the entire time. So she meets Bruce in his lab thingy, and he is doing some things because he's trying to, you know, see if she is like a weird monster now. But this, okay, I know this is Mark Ruffalo, but I don't know if he actually wants to be here, because every single line he delivers is the worst experience of my entire life. Why does every line this guy says sound like he's about to fall asleep, or he already has, or he's doing a Joe Biden impression?
Creating the Hulk banner identities. Built it for me a few years ago. Tony Stark.
So this is Mexico, and this is where he started to integrate the Hulk and Banner identity. Thanks for wording it like a video essay so I don't have to. He's going to help Shonk do the same thing and control herself. Tony Stark built it for him as well. We got a name drop because he's talking to the audience and he has to let them know that there are cameos. Also, the spaceship was a mailman, but he's gonna deal with it later because he needs to help Shonk because she's on her period or whatever. His blood and her blood are special because of reasons, and she's better than him because she can heal his wounds with her blood. That's actually what she says. This is Kate Kane all over again. She's better than everyone else because she doesn't have to earn anything that she gains. She's already perfect, so why is the series a thing?
Because I'm better than you?
It's just basically different.
In a better way.
What is his delivery? Are you bored? Blink twice if they're not paying you enough. Is this Jacob all over again?
What'd you bring me?
Be my fully integrated self again.
Smug Hulk.
How the fuck do you call him smug when you just called yourself better than him with that shit-eating grin on your face? He can't help her because his devices and inhibitors and all that help him control his shonkness aren't calibrated to her because science reasons, and she isn't very happy because she wants to not be Shonk. She has a panic attack and has some pancakes that look kind of flat. I guess are those pikelets? He says his journey to controlling who he is took him about 15 years because this is a very delicate issue. And if you remember, even I know the things about his whole superhero journey is he went through a lot of pain, he lost a lot of people, he tried to kill himself at one point. There's a lot of really big baggage because of the suffering that he went through as a person for more than a decade. Even I, someone who does not like cape shit things, knows about this. She says that she needs to get back to her job, so she needs to hurry it up. He then tries to talk to her about controlling it, aka the triggers of distress and anger being one of the things that she has to watch out for because she's gonna shonk out. She responds with a comparison to the sad parts of Pixar movies that makes her sad.
Put on a Pixar movie. When Bing Bong Jump.
I guess the Disney pandering never ends. This is really one of the white women of all time. She says that frustration and distress are the baseline for every woman ever, so I guess we're all emotional and fragile. Thanks, Marvel, really busting those stereotypes.
Triggers are anger and fear.
Those are like the baseline of any woman just existing.
All right.
Anyway, she turns and gets super angry, but she's still her because she's so powerful that she's so much better than him and immediately can control herself instantly, so there's no sense of earned power or character arc whatsoever because from the very first episode, she's very liked in her law firm. The chauvinistic bastard character is already hated by everyone else, so there's no reason for her to really feel any animosity but for him because everyone else does already and they all stick up for her instead of him. She is already stronger than him because she drags him out of a car wreck. Bruce, I mean. She already knows all of the stuff about her powers. She's stronger than the original Hulk. She's stronger than everyone else in her life. There is absolutely no reason for me to give a single fuck about anything that she goes through. Why does she deserve his power without any of the work that he put in or the sacrifices that happened for him to gain all of the control over his power that he has now. So anyway, she continues with the montage of training and has zero struggles. It's just normal for her. She loves it. She gets super smug about it, and I already fucking hate it. He needs to help her meditate, I guess, because he's trying to find ways to help her for unexpected things that she doesn't have control over. She goes to sleep to get out of being the Hulk, or the Shunk, excuse me, and go back to being original her. So, because he says that he passes out and it gets back to him not being the Hulk anymore. But she also is better than him because she can control suddenly when she turns and when she doesn't. If it's one thing I hate, it's the music in these. It feels exactly like a CW thing. It's like some weird ghetto club music. I don't understand the pop music industry. He lifts a boulder and then she lifts one that's higher than his, and she's so good that she's instantly better at everything, and he even has to try and show her up because he's feeling a bit disappointed in himself that she is better than him because haha, get it, misogyny. She also just reiterates that she wants to go back to her job and become the trendy shunk lawyer that the series opened up with. She compares her stupid feminist rage to his horrible suffering. This is one of the dumbest, most annoying things I have ever seen in my life. She makes a big deal out of everything in her life. She has it so fucking easy. She makes a bunch of money. Everyone loves her. The hardest thing that she has to do in her life is like not be a boring bitch to the people that she's trying to date or whatever, and she has the audacity to say that she has it more difficult than he does.
When I'm catcalled in the street, when incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me, I do it pretty much every day.
No!
That's what the show is. The show is acting like he's in the wrong and all his trauma doesn't mean anything at all, and she just gets into the Jeep and she's like, haha, fuck you, and runs him over and then kicks his ass. This is really the symbol. Every time you see one of these woke reboots or like side stories or whatever, it's just they bring in the original character, they murder him or they like stomp on him and everything he stands for, and then they just take over. If that is not a fucking metaphor, I don't know what is. So they also do the fourth wall breaks again. They get drunk and then she leaves.
So now I'm gonna go win this case. Lawyer show.
Speaking of court dramas, some of you who like court dramas and cape shit might know what Ally McBeal is. Now, I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but I am going to bring it up eventually. I don't know a lot about it because, like I said, not my genre, but I want to take some time to look into it because I want to have a good enough understanding to make some comparisons that need to be made and comment on it, because I think it's an important thing to bring up. I'm just bringing it up now because I know some of you have it in your minds already, and I wanted to sort of reassure you that it is coming and I will mention it eventually. And also, if you have some thoughts about it, then I would like to hear them. So if you're already looking at this series and going, wow, it reminds me of this and this, let me know. One thing I didn't like about some of my Batwoman coverage is I wish I put in a little bit more contextual research. Like, yeah, I'm here for the memes first and foremost, but in order to make it a more thorough video and fill in some of the emptiness that just being there for the memes would create, I think I want to try and like figure it out a little bit more. I'm not about to put in so much effort that I actually full on read all of the comics and watch all of Ally McBeal and all that stuff, because I just don't care that much, but I want to at least like have some sort of basis there to address some of the things that actual fans of superhero genres would want to hear, because I think it is important when you're talking about adaptations and whatnot. But we'll get to that another time. For this video, at least, we're just here for the memes. So, after all of this, which took the majority of the episode, she recaps talking to the audience, and there's some case about a rich fat man who accidentally killed a bunch of people because he's a dumbass and also a white male. So she stands up despite the man telling her that she's not gonna do good in the case because she has vagina power, and then some fucking weird whore appears and breaks through the wall, and the sassy girl boss friend is like, bitch, you gotta fucking fuck her shit up. Who the fuck is this? But then when Jennifer unshunks, she decides to do her closing argument and go on as if the trial is totally fine, even though people are probably fucking traumatized. So most of this episode seems to be credits. The post-credit scene is some annoying shit about her wanting to know who Captain America fucked because his sexual business is her business, even though she just complained about being objectified and catcalled. She decides that doing the same thing to a man is a very classy response. Yeah, that sets the mood for the entire show, huh?
Was this corner bigger? No, it was smaller. As a matter of fact, that's why I took it.
Episode 2 begins with some stuff explaining Shonk and how the lawyer is actually a superhero. The person who broke into the courtroom last time is an influencer supervillain. Okay, that's not gonna make me want to stab somebody. So, Shonk goes into a bar where everyone is calling her She-Hulk, and she hates the name and hates the attention, but she has to get used to it because that's just the way this shit works. Dumb lawyer man comes up to her and accuses her of doing this just to drum up attention for her career and high-profile case.
There's a hot chick over there, I'm gonna go talk to it.
They're really not trying with this guy, are they? Anyway, she turns into the Shonk again and learns that there is a mistrial because her shonkening disrupted the trial, which makes total sense to me, but it makes her very upset. So she gets fired because it makes sense that she does. This is kind of realistic, if anything. However, there would definitely be a law firm that scoops her up just because she's the superhero, and in fact that does happen at the end of this episode, but it's a weird thing. Her and her friend hang out and she has to go to some family dinner and be awkward because she has become the shonkening, and this is riveting.
So back to Hawkeye. It's pretty hazardous to leave those things lying around. Appreciate
The fuck is this delivery? Why are you talking like a fucking caricature? They have this thing with the brother being a cunt and like weird, Jewish family things? Is this a parody? The dad gives her a pep talk in the garage and she gets drunk again. This weird man who she was going up against in the trial decided to poach her as a lawyer because of the law firm thing that I said before where they want her to be Shonk. And then she gets ADR'd. Like this, when she talks to whatever his name is at the bar, listen to the ADR.
Pedro? Jen Walters is back, baby.
She is expected to be in the court at all times as She-Hulk because she is the new superhero law division leader, because there are other superhero lawyers, which sounds pretty interesting, but don't worry, this show will never ever play to that interesting topic, ever. She also rants about her feelings to the audience because that's still a thing. This is how we get how she feels, because showing it through her actions and on her face and through the words that she says to others is just too difficult. Some guy comes into the office talking about pooping. She gets told by her boss that she is doing a case on the parole of some evil villain man called Abomination. He wants her to do it because it's a very high profile case and there is a connection between her and him, being that Bruce was almost killed by Abomination because he is a character in the series. But the boss ignores her complaints because he's an evil mansplainer and says that if she doesn't get the case, then she will be fired, so she decides to agree. Is the connection between them not some type of ethical issue? I don't know that much about law, but you know. I did spend 5 hours talking about the case last video. I mean, I think I would have learned something, I guess I didn't. So they get some weird ass SCP facility looking ass prison where they house Abomination. She sasses the entire time to the point where the guard has to tell her to shut the fuck up because she's so annoying. Oh, it's this actor. Abomination claims that he doesn't turn into his villain form anymore because he did his new spiritual kick and he's a good guy now. I guess he became like white woman religion. He really is one of the white women of all time. He says the super soldier serum that the government made him is the thing that made him all loopy and do villain things because the government is behind it all. If there's one thing that I can believe, it is that the government sucks. Made him fight the Hulk, but then they said that he was a villain and that the Hulk is a brave hero, so why did he go to prison? And to be fair, it's a pretty interesting thing to talk about. So there's something fishy going on with the government. I mean, they are the ones who, you know, hurt Uncle Ted after all, and Uncle Ted did some weird things in the forest. She calls Bruce asking if it's okay if she takes the case, and by asking I mean she's already gonna take the case, but she just wanted to vent to him for a little bit about his trauma. He explains that he made it up with the guy because they traded haikus like a bunch of faggots. Then she tells the lawyer that she's gonna take the case, but he says to check the news. She checks the news and Abomination had broken out of prison to do some fighting in underground fight clubs. I know, I don't want to watch this anymore. I have the other Shonka video scheduled for over the break, and I also have a Harry Potter video coming up, so I hope that that sort of stuff is going to be interesting and tide you over for the New Year's and the Christmas and all that kind of stuff. I will open my shop again in February, and I don't think I have as big of a family thing going on next year, so I probably will be able to leave my shop open for a bit longer. I'm pretty keen on that because I have some stuff that I want to do for like Christmas type of things, and I don't get a chance to do that this year. As far as we're going right now, I am incredibly grateful and humbled by all of the support for the shop, and just in general, this year was pretty crazy, especially with some of the weird shit that happened recently. I hope that you enjoyed this, and let me know, what do you think? Do you think that this is worse than Batwoman or not? Because either way, we're gonna go into it, and you're gonna have to suffer, because that's just what you do on this channel. Bye for now.
Schnipp, schnapp! Ah, ah, da, ja! Ich bin Schnappi, das Krokodil! Ha? Komm aus Ägypten, direkt am Nil! Ja! Und Schnappi ist so verletzlich! Denn wenn ich schnapp, den fresse ich! Zum Schnappen bin ich immer bereit!